We contacted government officials. They refuse our existence.
Lynn?
Yes?
Suppose it's over.
I'm gonna shut down your transmitter.
Communications, I mean. Suppose we never make it again. There's nothing wrong with the transmitter. Atmospheric conditions won't explain it either. No matter how bad they are, we can pick up something.
There have been no further decoding.
What plan will you follow now?
Plan 9.
Plan 9. Ah, yes.
Plan 9. It's been absolutely impossible to work through these Earth creatures. Their soul is too controlled. You know, it's an interesting thing when you consider the Earth people who can think are so frightened by those who cannot.
You have your report?
We had to pull in here to Space Station 7 for regeneration. We're returning to the planet Earth immediately thereafter.
What progress has been made?
We contacted government officials. They refuse our existence.
Lynn?
Yes?
Suppose it's over.
I'm gonna shut down your transmitter.
Communications, I mean. Suppose we never make it again. There's nothing wrong with the transmitter. Atmospheric conditions won't explain it either. No matter how bad they are, we can pick up something.
There have been no further decoding.
What plan will you follow now?
Plan 9.
Plan 9. Ah, yes.
Plan 9. It's been absolutely impossible to work through these Earth creatures. Their soul is too controlled. You know, it's an interesting thing when you consider the Earth people who can think are so frightened by those who cannot.
You have your report?
We had to pull in here to Space Station 7 for regeneration. We're returning to the planet Earth immediately thereafter.
What progress has been made?
We contacted government officials. They refuse our existence.
Lynn?
Yes?
Suppose it's over.
I'm gonna shut down your transmitter.
Communications, I mean. Suppose we never make it again. There's nothing wrong with the transmitter. Atmospheric conditions won't explain it either. No matter how bad they are, we can pick up something.
There have been no further decoding.
What plan will you follow now?
Plan 9.
Plan 9. Ah, yes.
Plan 9. It's been absolutely impossible to work through these Earth creatures. Their soul is too controlled. You know, it's an interesting thing when you consider the Earth people who can think are so frightened by those who cannot.
You have your report?
We had to pull in here to Space Station 7 for regeneration. We're returning to the planet Earth immediately thereafter.
What progress has been made?
We contacted government officials. They refuse our existence.
Lynn,
Yes?
suppose it's over.
And I shut down your transmitter.
Communications, I mean. Suppose we never make it again.
Hello everybody and welcome to Real Shade. It's a podcast about movies that we review in real time, live on YouTube and Twitch. This week Derry is just a big blank box up in the top left hand corner. She's just hands in the middle of the screen. Darren's over there in a completely different room, and I've also changed rooms, and we've also been late. But you know what? This week we're here, so forget about the past. We're in the future, and I've been told it's Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day
Who
to all
knew?
those people who are, you know, I don't know, not making podcasts on this merry day. This week we are going to be watching, or we did watch, and now we're going to be reviewing Romeo and Juliet.
Yay!
Now this week I'm not going to be on Derry's side at all. Derry, you're going to have to take a back seat on me agreeing with you, and I think I don't know if Darren is going to agree with me
You
on
talk
this
like
one.
this is something new. I'm well used to you disagreeing with me.
I know, I've agreed with you the past. Dumb and Dumber, I agree with you. You agree
Same.
with me on some of those
Same.
ones. Well, I think we basically agree with it, all of our, choices. But this week has been horrible. I've regretted it immensely, and I'm regretting even giving you a choice. To be honest with you, Terry. To be honest with you. But this week
And it
we
wasn't
did
even
it.
my turn this week.
No, it was
Yeah.
meant to be my turn, but I gave it up because I'm a nice person.
So I was
I
so
watched-
hell bent on having Romeo and Juliet on Valentine's Day.
Yay, the best version as well. IMDb gave it a 6.7.
Wow.
Well, we'll get to my review. But 1996, Leonardo DiCaprio and some other one, Claire Danes?
Claire Danes.
Claire Danes. Baz Luhrmann, a horrible director, directed this. And
I feel like
we
this
just-
clouded your judgment.
No, it didn't need to. It really didn't need to. It was just the cherry on the top of the turd. It was the peanut on the top. And Baz was that person. Like, but who calls himself Baz as well? It's just the worst. Anyway, get beyond that. Imagine being, hey, my name is Baz. I'm like, what a fucking dickhead. Just immediately. Straight away. Hey, did you know I directed Romeo and Juliet? I hate you more. Get out of my sight. So, let's read from IMDb. Shakespeare's famous play is updated to the hip, modern suburb of Venora, still retaining its original
Verona.
dialogue. Wow. Thanks, IMDb. You've basically
That was
just
very-
said nothing.
Down with the kids.
Yeah.
It basically says, hey, it's about Shakespeare's play, but modern. But it doesn't tell me what it's about. It doesn't actually give me, like...
You're supposed to know,
the
Jamie.
storyline.
Like,
I
it's
know.
Shakespeare. Like, duh.
Oh, here's a little bit of a better summary. So, the classic story of Romeo and Juliet, set in a modern-day city of Vernora Beach. I guess that's Miami. Is it Miami?
Verona.
Verona.
Yeah, it
Verona
kind of looks like
Beach.
Miami.
I presume it's Miami. I don't even know, to be honest. I don't
Yeah,
know.
let's
I
say
would
it's
assume it's
Miami.
Miami. Yeah.
The Montagues and the
Apples.
Capulets are two
Capulet, yeah.
feuding families whose children meet and fall in love. They have to hide their love from the world because they know that their parents will not allow them to be together. There are obstacles on the way, like Juliet's cousin, Talbot. And
Tybalt. Did you even watch the movie?
I really did. I actually really did.
I
And
feel
you know
like
what?
you had to stop to pronounce Capulet. You had to stop to pronounce Tybalt. Like it feels like you didn't pay attention to the movie.
You just gave up, Jamie.
I
You just gave up.
tried to pay attention to a lot in that movie, okay? And I'll get to my gripes in a second. And it's not necessarily this movie's fault, but I'm going to blame it because that's it's in the crossfires tonight. Tybalt and Romeo's friend Mercurio and many fights.
Mercutio.
Whatever.
God,
But
that's it.
although
You're
it is
done.
set-
You did not pay attention at
in
all.
modern times, it is still the same timeless story of the star-crossed lovers. Wow, magical. So let's get to why I didn't like it. Just in a little bit of a summary, and then we'll kind of flow through that, and then you guys can go through why you liked it. Maybe we'll give a little bit of a summary why you guys have that opinion. So my opinion is I fucking hate Shakespeare. I don't like it. I like that it was a thing. I don't hate Shakespeare the man. And hey, Derry knows my theory about Shakespeare, so you do know.
I've gone through so many of your conspiracy theories. Which is the
You
Shakespeare
can't
one?
just say that. You gotta explain
Conspiracy
for
realism, okay, people.
Okay,
people
yeah,
at home,
yeah.
Conspiracy realism. Just look at who Mark Twain wrote a book called "Who Is Shakespeare?" Read it. He'll tell you who Shakespeare
Is this
really
about him
was.
stealing all his work?
No. He was basically a person, a crappy, probably, at best an actor, and Francis Bacon and his whole troupe of writing workshop created all of Shakespeare's plays, because the guy couldn't even write his signature. That's a whole other topic. But forget about the man. I just hate modern love of Shakespeare when and then to bring it into this hip hop 90s down with the kids kind of thing, when like we all know kids at the time couldn't even speak English properly, and I don't think a lot of kids were watching this
That's
film.
a broad statement.
I don't care, I'm making it. I don't think a lot of kids were watching this for the language in the film. I think they were either watching it for the guns or Leonardo DiCaprio, and that was about it.
yeah.
I had not a notion what was going on. I didn't know what was. I honestly could only reference it by kind of guessing what was happening in the scene. It was too much all at once, and then it was a teenage love story on top of that. Darren, take it away.
He's not going to let me talk, is he?
Jamie.
No, I'm getting to you. You're not even in the camera shot.
I take a drink before I answer that question. Yeah, like you said, man, I didn't have a fucking, like I said that to Derry, and I told you, I had no clue. I'd never seen this movie before, so I didn't know what to expect. And I know the story of Romeo and Juliet, but when I stuck on this movie again, I was like, this is not the right movie. This is definitely not the fucking right movie. What's happening right now? I came away from the movie thinking it was a very fucking angry film.
Yeah.
Like, it was very loud. Like, everything was like vroom, vroom, vroom in your face, and like the fucking car chases, and like only about halfway through the movie, it was I was kind of grasping what the fuck was going on, about who was who, and like when I seen John Leguizamo show up and he's like a Spanish fucking guy with, I was like, I had no clue. I was like, are they going to shoot? What the? Like, I literally could not grasp what the fuck was happening. And then the guns. So obviously, the guns are their swords and fucking.
Yeah.
I get the kind of, but yeah, like to me, like I know Derry, our resident artist, loves Leonardo DiCaprio.
She'll defend it in a second, but you
Yeah,
keep going, Darren.
look, I have to say, I think he was probably the weakest part of the movie.
Am I
Like,
right? Am I right?
No.
Yeah, he was
I
like
love look,
a wet biscuit. It was really
yeah,
disappointing.
I like look,
I lie that at Claire Danes' feet. Sorry.
yeah, but
Claire
look,
Danes wasn't any better, but she was in about 10% of the film, and all she did
that's
was
what
look
I
happy or a
didn't.
little bit sad.
I didn't particularly like any of the two of them. I thought they were okay title characters, and not necessarily did title characters have to be the best thing in the whole movie, but they certainly for me weren't the best in this whole movie.
No,
But like this whole movie had a great cast. There was a fucking great cast in this
it was a
movie.
pretty good cast. You know,
Jamie
like
Kennedy was,
Jamie
I was like,
Kennedy was in this. I can't
yeah,
believe it. A
uh,
starring
yeah,
role.
the guy who played oh my god, what's his name? Mon- I want to say Mordecai.
Mercutio?
Cusio. That's what I was. Okay, I'm as bad as you,
Yeah, he
Jamie.
was pretty good.
Cusio. I love him
You,
anyway. He's
A
a
pox
fucking.
on your family. That's my favorite
He's
line for the whole thing. A pox on a plague on your family.
plague o'
And,
both your houses.
and they're dead. Eh.
like I have to say, I wasn't really taken with the whole movie, and I was like, okay, it's an okay movie. It's good. I understand. I'd say Baz Luhrmann excelled in what he tried to do for this movie, like tell the story, but like obviously bring it to a modern day. And I thought it was done very cleverly. I thought with the guns and the swords and the way they used the costume, they used the costume party instead of having them wear like the old kind of clothing and stuff, but
Yeah.
they had it as costumes on. I thought, like, I think Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Danes did a good job. I think they did as well. Oh yeah, sorry. This is my one gripe in the whole movie. Well, my biggest gripe. Paul Rudd can do fucking anything, but Shakespeare he can't do. I'm sorry.
I completely forgot I
can't-
keep on forgetting he's in it. Even when he's in it, I'm like, oh my god, Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I can take him seriously in anything because I love Paul Rudd. I don't think there's a person on this earth that don't love Paul Rudd, and I've never said that he can't do anything. He's a fucking great actor. Comedy, series, he's brilliant. But he cannot do Shakespeare.
No.
Like, he's being himself and he's not even acting. I'm just like, no, I can't take it
Well-
apart. And there's a lot of actors who are dead now that I was like, oh gee, like the guy who played the priest, he's
Passed away,
fucking
right.
amazing. He's
Oh,
fantastic.
he's a great actor in general, and I think he's one of those kind
Yeah.
of side characters in a lot of movies.
Yeah.
My
Like
problem
Brian
with
De-
it was the American accents, and it just came off a bit frustrating in that, like, I've seen, like London kids kind of performing, it's like all, hey, blood, Romeo and stuff,
Yeah.
Devil
Yeah.
Kids. And I was like, oh, that just sounds cringy, but it's not as bad as Americans trying to pull it off. It just sounds
But
really
see,
forced.
but this is the thing, like, and I think they went like a totally opposite way with it. Instead of trying to update the dialogue, and this is a time when movies were coming out like 10 Things I Hate About You and Clueless, and they were based on Shakespeare plays as well, but they completely rewrote the movie. Whereas Romeo and Juliet was kind of like, no, we're going to stick with the dialogue, and then
So what did Baz
clash
Luhrmann
it.
do? He went, how will I make
We
this
should-
different? I know,
They
I'll
can't-
steal a script from hundreds of years ago.
But then completely
but
clash it with
see-
this over-the-top, oversaturated visual. And I think that
I-
clash is really interesting.
I will
think it was
allow you,
very-
Derry, to defend your point, and I will give you, there's 5 minutes on the clock.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm getting
but
timed
I-
this week. Wow, you really, wow. Look, I love watching this movie. I think this movie looks gorgeous. I love the
Yes.
fact that there's so much color. I love the little Easter eggs that are dropped in everywhere, like the guns or swords. There's, where they go and play pool. There's the Globe Theatre. All these kind of little things, like little hints and throwbacks to Shakespeare. There's the way that they use the dialogue makes the story really understandable. Obviously, if you're not following the dialogue, it's harder for you to follow the story. But if you can follow the dialogue, I'm not getting through to you at all, am I?
No, it's okay. So
Yeah.
I'll say a final point on it, and we'll probably talk about it as we speak about the movie. But it feels like they were told, okay, be angry during this line, okay, be sad during this line, be happy during this line, give it a lot of emotion during this line, because they had no fucking idea what they were saying themselves. I got that feeling that
I think there were
saying
some.
things, like it just felt like Leonardo DiCaprio, the entire thing, he was given it socks. I'll give him that. He didn't pull it off, but he tried his best. And at the end of the day, it just felt like he was like giving all his acting ability, but he could have been saying anything at all. He could have been saying
Yeah.
rabble, 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 right?
I
And that,
don't know. I disagree because I thought in the everyday kind of dialogue, in the like the normal conversational dialogue, I thought he was the one that kind of pulled off the most sort of realism. I thought characters like Benvolio and the smaller side characters were more like you said, kind of just talking,
yeah, like,
repeating the line.
Yeah.
and I suppose to be honest with you, uh, Leonardo DiCaprio didn't really have much to do other than look good for the teenage girls and I don't know, smoke. He's badass smoking. Hey kids, smoking's
but
cool
look,
in the 90s.
like I will say he to me, as I stick by what I said, he was kind of weak in the movie, but like I think he's a good enough actor to, well, they all had to understand. I think they all would obviously have to understand their dialogue, but I mean, there's people there that were clearly fucking really into what they were
Jamie
saying.
Kennedy.
Like,
Jimmy Kennedy. No, not
Jamie,
that guy. I mean, like, he had no
Jamie
idea what he
Kennedy
was saying.
and your man Benvolio. There was a few people there like were just worse than DiCaprio in this fucking movie. They were shocking me, but like I'm not saying I loved Leonardo DiCaprio. I think he's a great actor. I think he's a fucking phenomenal actor. Like, and I do think he did a good job in this what he was working with. Like, but I
I
do
think
agree with you too. I think Leonardo DiCaprio was brought into this because of who he was. I think they knew he'd sell tickets. They knew he'd sell a fucking picture. But like then again, you could have brought somebody on board that would have totally fucked it up. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
They
Like, you can tell that Leonardo DiCaprio is such a good actor because, like I said, he could have been saying absolutely anything and still gave it, his all in terms of acting. Like when he's crying, he's really crying.
This is the thing, and that's what I was going to say. Is you have to look at the scenes, like especially where he's after killing Tybalt, and he's like just, there's that dead stare close up, and like it's just on his face for like 5 seconds, 10 seconds straight, and like that's just he's able to hold that, like, and
I resent teenage emotions, and I hated them when I was a teenager.
You know what?
And I really think they're pitiful now. So
Romeo was like the original emo, so
right. I was never an emo. I never did put my hair like that, and had a bit of a whinge. Never.
No, sweetheart, your hair was longer, but it wasn't far.
I had a long hair. I was some sort of a goth hippie weirdo, whatever people called me at the on the curbside. But the whole point of it is, I felt uncomfortable because they all looked 12, and I was like, why do they have all guns? And I don't know.
Well, Juliet was supposedly 14, I think, isn't it?
Yes, she was.
Yeah, and Paul Rudd getting all that.
Fresh.
Yeah, what the fuck was that? Like, seriously.
You can't knock that though. That's original script. Like that's not a Baz Luhrmann thing.
Let's dive into it. So we start off with a TV zooming towards the screen. Ooh, and then straight away, okay, so Baz Luhrmann said in an interview about directing that the audience needs to know what is happening in the film in the first 5 minutes. If you don't know what, if the audience doesn't know what's happening in the film in the first 5 minutes, you've basically failed, which is a whole load of shit. So that doesn't make any sense to me. But you can see it in this film over and over again. He does it in all his films. It brings a person on the television, a news anchor, talking in this old-timey English, and it's a lot. There's a lot of information, but it's about the story. It explains pretty much the story in and of itself. It goes to Picture Jesus, and then it goes to all the characters. It introduces all of the characters. It kind of flashes up, even like, this is happening for and I was like, stop it, Baz, you're losing me.
I feel like the start was really weird. I will agree with you with that. It felt like it started with a trailer.
This is the 90s, exactly. But that's what I'm saying. That's what Baz Luhrmann likes. He likes to he stuck a trailer at the start of his own movie to say, this is what's happening. This is what to expect. So I'll give him credit where credit's due. I'm surprised that he got Americans to accept a movie like this. You know, with a lot of old English language.
Yeah.
Even for the 90s, to get that mainstream was a big thing.
Yes.
Especially in a Western market, especially in an American Western market in the 90s, to have a load of young people going and fawning over Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah. Did this movie do well when it came out? I don't know. Did it do actually well? Like,
yeah, it's the reason Leonardo DiCaprio kind of ended up with Titanic and everything. It really it shot him forward.
Yeah, I thought
all that drowning he did.
Yeah,
I mean, falling into water. He'd be good in Titanic.
Wet Leo is best Leo.
Fuck's
Not gonna lie, you know. I said Wet Leo is best Leo.
Wet Leo is best Leo. I'll have no misandry on this podcast.
On the t-shirt.
Excuse me.
It's a common theme with Leonardo DiCaprio.
That gorgeous hair of his.
Lovely, lovely hair. We're in the car with Jamie Kennedy and his two friends, who are, I don't know, in a Limp Bizkit music video or something like that. They're auditioning for Sum 41, with Hawaiian shirts. That's why I think it's in Miami, because they're all wearing Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah, possibly. I can't remember where it's supposed
to represent
now,
somewhere. Yeah.
You're going to have to forgive me, Derry, because, again, I have no idea what the fuck's happening with these people talking to each other. So you're going to have to fill in the gaps. I'm going to go along with my idea of what happened in the film, and you tell me if it was right or wrong.
Sure.
So, they're hungry. They want to stop out of the garage to get some hot dogs. They get out to get some hot dogs and some petrol. But no, the Spanish people are there with guns. Oh no! Guns and Spanish people, no hot dogs. So, a fancy kind of big collared Spanish, would I say like Cuban?
Cuban I'd say more.
Yeah, takes out like a gun, and then he's like, oh, shit's going down. So then people are getting shot. It's at this point you see the camera zoom in on the gun and it says sword, which is, oh my god, how inventive. Then there's a fight, there's a shootout, and the gas station blows up. Bam! They're two families that don't like each other.
Yes.
The whole West Side Story thing.
Hey, we in Ireland know a lot about families not getting along. And then we get a big zoom out of the city, and we see the Montague big Capitol building and the Capula big Capitol building, and obviously these are two conglomerates, big wealthy families that are rivaling each other, and there's a big statue of Jesus in the middle.
It's visually amazing. Like, I think it's visually fantastic.
It's visually amazing. Like Moulin
the
Rouge.
colors, but there's a lot going. That's what got me, because like immediately, like you said, Jamie, there's a lot thrown at you from the very start of it. Like, it's really like boom, 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 and it's even when I had the TV down really low, it was so fucking loud. It was like, holy shit. But so much happens in the first 10 fucking minutes of this movie that you're like, right. And I suppose they wanted obviously this to do it, modernize it for the younger audiences, for Leonardo DiCaprio's fans and all that shit. Yeah. Because they didn't want, obviously, because that's why they kept, I think they wanted to try to get the two audiences, because I agree with what Derry said. I'm glad they kept the original dialogue. I'm so glad, because they could have just changed it up and they could have just made it a whole new fucking film, but they kept the essence of what you didn't like that, no?
I would have preferred it to be modern dialogue with hints of old-timey dialogue, ye oldie language. Like maybe Romeo is obsessed with Shakespeare and he prefers to speak not exactly like that, and maybe his gang prefers to kind of have that twang of it.
But see, this is the thing, right?
It wouldn't be Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet then.
No, it wouldn't be, because it isn't.
But that's what I was saying, right? You have movies at the time like 10 Things I Hate About You that did exactly that. Yes. You know, they brought in sonnets from Shakespeare and poetry and all that kind of stuff. That's exactly what 10 Things I Hate About You did. But the thing about Romeo and Juliet is it flipped that kind of remake idea on its head and kept the dialogue while still giving you that kind of modern twist. And I think that's the hook, that's the gimmick with it. And I enjoy that.
Yeah, and that's fine. I'm not saying it's a bad gimmick, and I appreciate the inventiveness of it. It just falls flat for me because it just feels like I'm watching one film and hearing another film. It feels like there's a film going on behind me, and I'm watching like a 90s
because
drama.
I was listening to a lot of Romeo's dialogue when he's like fawning over Rosalind and then falling over Juliet or whatever. And if that had been modern dialogue, I would be puking. Like, it's so disgustingly emo and disgustingly like you were on about teenage emotions. It's disgusting.
So,
but the hook is that because it's Shakespearean language, you can kind of forgive it.
Do you think DiCaprio?
So here's the fork that I have in that logic is that okay, Baz Luhrmann either was so creative that he decided everybody will love this, or he's such a good businessman that he said, we'll even get the people that hate this soppy shit. And I think he went with the second one. I don't think he was being any way creative by going, hey, see this? Yeah, that was written 300 years ago, Baz. Yeah, but look, Leonardo DiCaprio's in it now. Oh my God, he's $1 million maker. Like, it just...
I will say, I don't love this movie for Leonardo DiCaprio. That is not the reason that I love this movie.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there. I do enjoy this movie for the movie that it is.
I like the visuals. I love the visuals.
I hate soppy shit. I hate romance movies. I hate girly movies. I hate all of that stuff. I really love this movie for the look and for the way it was interpreted.
No, I don't mind. Let's... I like soppy shit, girly movies, but like this part of that movie, Romeo and Juliet, I didn't like.
I hate girly soppy movies. So I'm automatically not in the field for this. I'm not a big fan of them. They're all very similar, and it's all about love. So if you're not, hey, love's great. There's nothing wrong with love. But if you're not a big lover of love, yeah, it's a film about golf.
And God, this is...
I have no problem with golf. I know who Tiger Woods is. That's about it.
This is the perfect movie for you. Fucking hell.
It's a movie about teenagers falling in love. Wow. That happens.
Yeah, okay, but you can't blame the movie for that. It's the story.
Hey, and it's not...
I'm not going to let you pick apart the story because the story is a Shakespeare story.
But
so you can't take that in context with the movie.
I can't attack the story, and that's not a defense for the movie either. So let's not talk about the story at all, which I've decided to do in all of this. This is going to be my review.
What I mean is you can't attack Baz Luhrmann for the story that already existed.
No, because it's not Baz Luhrmann's story, and I hope Baz Luhrmann would admit that.
Oh, Shakespeare is credited.
Yeah, exactly. I have no problem with the story. The story is so basic that it's 300 years ago basic. It's so basic that it's been done to death. So I'm not picking apart the story. My problem is with it. People thinking, how intelligent, and I'm thinking it just feels like they just copy pasted Shakespeare onto a modern film and then went, ching ching.
Yeah, but who else did that?
And that's fine, but I don't feel like giving it as much credit as everybody seems to give it.
That's what most movies are doing nowadays. Most movies are taking like heaps of shit and making crap movies, making millions of dollars. But I'm credit to Baz Luhrmann. He decided to take a fucking Shakespeare, which he knew was going to be... Well, if he took, as I said again, if he took a Shakespeare movie and didn't have DiCaprio in it, it wouldn't have... I don't think it would have made as much money.
Ewan McGregor was supposed to be in it. It was going to happen either way. And like I said, I'm not a fan of this movie for Leonardo DiCaprio. That's just a bonus.
Yeah. A wet bonus.
A dripping.
A
Let's not go there.
DiCaprio. Boner. What are we talking about again, guys? No. I have no problem with Shakespeare. I like Shakespeare.
Hang on a second. You started this podcast by saying I hate Shakespeare.
No, I hate the man Shakespeare.
That's what I'm saying.
But I said, beside the man. Put the man beside, because forget about the man. I like Shakespeare in context. So I like Brian Blessed. If he was to do any Shakespeare, absolutely, I'd watch that all day long. But it isn't that. It's a trap. It's a trap.
Right.
Because it makes me
an
want to
art
think it's
black art.
intelligent when it isn't. It makes me want to think it's visually appealing when it is, but well, I can't really say anything bad about that, really. The camera's a bit crap. I'll say that. Cinematography's not great. How about that?
What?
What?
Ah.
So, let's get along.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's move.
Leonardo DiCaprio's cousin is in the car with the head of the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Montague.
And
He's
they're
dad.
he's basically saying, oh, some stuff happened and he's fine. I don't know what was happening. What was happening during that scene, Derry?
Basically, they were talking about how emo Romeo is because he darkens his bedroom, he cries at sunset, and he writes poetry.
Darkens his bedroom?
Yeah, basically, like, pulls the curtains, doesn't let daylight in, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, right.
So they're basically talking about the fact that Romeo is emo and depressed, and they want to know why he's depressed, and the dad hasn't figured it out, so he's hoping that Benvolio will have more luck figuring it out.
I'll hazard a guess. I think it's for a little bit of poontang. I think
Well,
that's
yeah,
what
they
he's
do
sad
take the
about.
piss out of him in the pool hall about Rosalind, and that's where you're introduced to Rosalind, who is actually Juliet's cousin, so he's already in love with a Capulet girl.
So, like, it's so fickle from the start. So, we get to Paul Rudd. We get to Leonardo DiCaprio, and they have a bit of a conversation on the beach. And then we get to Paul Rudd. We see the head of the family, and he's introduced as basically being the person that Juliet should be marrying or should be going with.
Yes.
Well, he doesn't even look like he fits in this movie. I just can't get my head around it.
He's so very clean cut.
Like, he's like a man baby.
Yeah.
I can't look. As I said to you, I'm the biggest fucking fan of Paul Rudd in the world, and as many people that could not pull off. Well, what's his name was Benvolio. I fucking couldn't stick him either. And like, he was like somebody that is, like you said, Jamie, was just given lines and just told him, right, you need to be angry.
I agree with that.
There's no emotion. There was no actually like acting went into his fucking parts. He just said the lines. And then what killed me is when he was having a fucking face off at Mercutio and they were having to take the guns, and Mercutio was fucking doing an amazing fucking performance. That's later on. We'll talk about that. But like, Paul Rudd is not. He's not a Shakespearean actor. Let's just say that.
The funny parts in it, he tried to do the funny parts, like when he was dressed up as an astronaut and he was doing that dance. Those are bits where I was like, oh, there's Paul Rudd being Paul Rudd. But the rest of it, it was just like, what the fuck?
It's like he wandered onto the set and they just said, stay there.
You do.
Yeah, you're funny enough. You're fine. You were in Wet Hot Summer, so you're funny. You can be in that. Then
wasn't he in Clueless as well?
Hall.
He was in Clueless as well, wasn't he?
I think he was in Clueless, yeah.
Yeah.
And he was also, was he in like Friday the 13th or something, like one of those films, like Freddy Krueger from
I'm just saying, wasn't Clueless like a Shakespeare adaptation as well?
Yes, it was, yeah.
And has Paul Rudd, so.
Yeah.
See,
that's the thing. Like, wow, Baz Luhrmann, you're so inventive for like the seventh person having done it, and you fucking sold someone's script as well. What was another one? 10 Things I Hate About You. That was one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I have no clue. I'm not being.
That was Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
That was his
I only ever did one Shakespeare play. It was A Midsummer Night's Dream, and
they should do that.
10 Things I Hate About You was Taming of the Shrew.
Oh.
Yeah, they just get a bit of string and they go, yeah.
Yeah.
So they're in a pool hall then, and they're having a chat about girls, I think.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. I had no idea what the fuck they're talking about. I'm like, they're probably chatting about girls. So
the fact that Romeo is so in love, he's heartsick over Rosalind, basically.
Oh, poor Rosalind. Then we get introduction into Juliet's mother, who
brilliant character.
Kind of reminds me of one of the witches from Witches, The original
Right.
is. So and there's this like a little Italian servant lady there.
She's a nurse.
Very
She's our nurse.
Margot.
She's fucking great.
I forget her name. Margot
Yeah, she's in a
Lees,
load of stuff.
She's brilliant.
Professor
She's
Sprout from Harry Potter.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
And then we get an introduction into Juliet, and she is nothing like her mother. Her mother is like dressing up as Cleopatra and giving it all the bits and bobs and having a smoke and not giving a shit. And I think she's also lovesick. She doesn't want to get married to Paul Rudd. Is that it?
She's not lovesick for anyone in particular.
Yeah, she wants love, but she doesn't want to get married
She's
to Paul
also
Rudd.
very young, and she's like, I don't know. I don't. What are you talking about? Like,
What you talk about, mama? So you get her a little bit, and it's like, oh, isn't she kind of like Romeo? That's crazy how they're kind of like soulmates. So we then get Mercurio dressing up as a lady. A little bit of
Which was
transvestitism.
just this was the most Shakespearean part to me. This is like the weird costumes and the fucking
Did they only do this because men dressed as women in the Shakespeare plays? It's
Oh,
not because
possibly.
Mercurio
Yeah.
is
Mercutio.
Mercutio
Cute.
is is like a cross dresser or anything in the play.
yeah. Well, they're doing it as the part, like as he's dressing up for the party. But they use that as, like you just said, a lot of men did dress
I
as
don't
women
think they
back
go to
then.
the party at this stage, Darren. I think they
Are they
just
not?
no.
This is pre-party.
Pre-party. They don't even
This
know
is where
about each other.
they're meeting up to give him the tickets.
Yeah, this were
For the
yeah,
party.
because
Yeah.
for the party.
The
He
invitations.
goes,
So
doesn't he?
no, well, he's dressed as a lady.
Yeah.
And he does a big dance scene on the stairs, and
Yeah.
Jamie
And
did not pay attention to this movie.
Takes the
I did,
ticket
and,
out
and then he starts shouting at the sky, and Leonardo DiCaprio
No,
was like, "Whoa,
no.
calm down, man. There's nobody there."
Yeah, off
And he's
the
like,
face.
I'm so
This
shocked.
is what he takes.
That's the Queen Mab speech, which is a really famous speech out of the play. So
Well, that happens, and there's a guy wearing a kilt, and then there's a load of fireworks.
Yeah.
And then the dance happens. So they're at the dance now.
Yeah.
I
to
know
me-
this scene is famous. This is
Is
a
what he
scene.
takes. This is like, if anyone, as I said, I never seen the movie before, but this is the whole love me, say.
no, it's not. You're way ahead.
Oh,
You
fuck.
are
okay.
far ahead, but this is the aquarium scene.
Yeah, but is this not that song? No.
No, it's a Desiree song. The
No.
kissing you
Yeah.
song.
And can we also say, fucking Desiree? What the hell? She's like, where does she go after?
I know, right? She was amazing. I loved her.
But it was like, I was fucking enthralled. It's the first time actually through the movie I kind of just stopped and just actually listened.
Yeah,
Like-
that was a beautiful song.
What's that
And then I
song
checked
that keeps reoccurring throughout the whole entire film?
That's
Is it this
kissing
one?
you. That's like the theme, the Romeo and Juliet's theme.
Okay, yeah. So,
Listen,
Leonardo
I did like that. I did like the fish tank scene, the aquarium scene, where they're looking at each other. So, like,
and
as I
then
said, that
Leonardo
was.
DiCaprio thinks she's drowning, and he's like, "Go, get out of there!" Ah!
I'll never let go.
Oh, that was the blooper. I'll never let go. He's already auditioning for his next big hit. So yeah, they find each other in the waters, and Paul Rudd is having a bit of a dance as an astronaut. And I think like there's a little bit of symbolism. I didn't want to look too hard into the symbolism because I know it would have been thrown in my face even if I didn't look for it. So was there something to do with the fact that she was an angel and like she's like from another world in heaven and he's just a man in space, like he's just on her level but just a man, but she's actually like an angel?
Oh, interesting. I actually never thought of that. I did think of like
oh
her.
god, I just got sick determining what Baz Luhrmann was probably thinking.
I did think of her costume being like, oh, she's, obviously angelic and pure and all this kind of stuff. It never occurred to me to look at Paul Rudd's costume and tie that in. But yeah, that's an interesting take.
What I thought
yeah.
was, right, ready, get this. They're at a costume party.
Oh, Darren.
Hang on a second, what?
Maybe
I was
I'm
just looking at
reaching
Paul
more,
Rudd.
but,
Hey, you're bringing us down to earth, Darren, and how appropriate for this metaphor.
No pun intended.
Yeah. Metaphor means secret, Darren. Okay.
Oh, sorry. I don't look too hard into these. Like I thought it would hurt my brain to try and look too hard into this movie, Jamie.
You don't need to do. You don't even need to rack your brain for this movie, Darren.
Oh,
It's literally there in front of you.
I was hanging on by a thread for this whole movie.
Hanging on by a thread. By a thread. So, they're doing a little bit of a dance. They're making a little bit of love. They're getting down tonight. Leonardo DiCaprio, having just met this woman like a minute ago, snatches her away from her rich boyfriend, and she's like, "Ooh, I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that." This is well before Me Too, ladies, so that it wouldn't happen nowadays. You'd have to ask permission before being whisked away randomly. They have a little bit of a chat, and
they have a chat. Is that what you'd call it?
Well, it was so informal. Like the chat was so informal, but they were basically talking about having sex. Effectively, that's what I got from that. Am I right, Derry?
I wouldn't say. It depends. If you're skipping a lot of. Are we in the elevator? Are we after the elevator?
No, we're before the elevator. We're in the dance. And we're just after the dance where they're standing near the column.
Have we got to the elevator scene yet?
No, he hasn't even taken any drugs yet.
Oh, okay. Then he has taken drugs. He took drugs before the party.
Before they entered the place.
Oh, has he seen all those crazy people, like the Cleopatras and stuff?
That's why he went in to dip his face in the sink, because he was tripping.
Very well. Yeah,
Dude, you did not pay attention to this movie.
I did. I do remember that scene, but it wasn't important. Like, he took drugs and he saw some stuff, but at the end of the day, it had nothing to do with anything. He literally just needed to go there to meet Juliet. Was there any other reason for anything else that happened from here between now and your man dressing up as a woman? Has anything happened between now and here that I haven't literally said? See, this is the problem with the film, and here's the thing. Again, fine film. It went on for 2 hours and it told a very straightforward story, and it was all visuals. It was all eye candy. Well,
if you think that it's a condensed version of the Shakespeare play, then
I don't think it's condensed version. I think it's appropriate. For like, if someone said, "Hey, there's a film about Romeo and Juliet. It's 2 hours long," I would say, "Yeah, you could probably make that 2 hours long."
Amy, but do you think it's a good telling of the story? This version.
But they didn't tell the story. They just told the script, and the rest of it was just eye
candy.
The
script is the story.
No, but they didn't even tell the script. Like I said, it felt like two completely different movies. This movie didn't tell me about Romeo and Juliet. What this told me is two kids get together and they both off themselves. It just doesn't. I didn't get the feeling of Romeo and Juliet from it. And this isn't the first time I've seen this film. I will make that clear. And maybe I have a bad taste in my mouth because, as you would imagine, I was forced to watch this fucking film. And it's just, there's nothing inventive.
It's no existence,
but what I'm saying is, like, there's, in Shakespeare, that play went on for like 7 hours. And there was people fucking talking to each other nonstop, and there was not a pause, and there was a lot of blocking, and that's impressive. I'd like to see that on stage. But what was happening here is a big American film with lots of guns and tears and great actors, but it didn't do anything for me. And the story itself didn't match up to the scenes. The scenes, like, if you took all of the dialogue out of the film, you could probably tell what was happening. This would be a great silent film because you wouldn't need to know any of the dialogue at all, and still it would be.
I think that's a good point, though. No, that's a good point, because obviously the dialogue is quite hard to follow, and the two of you have both said, it was harder to follow with that kind of a dialogue.
Negative and positive.
What? No, I'm genuinely serious, and I did think of this while I was watching it, because, if the dialogue is going to be that hard to follow, you need the visuals to be very clear on what's going on.
I didn't find it hard to follow at all. I just, since like before I did any Shakespeare, I did any kind of like I haven't done Shakespeare. I've done one Shakespeare play, but I kind of got the gist of what was happening. But like I didn't find it hard to follow. I found it very easy to follow. I thought there was a lot fucking happening.
No, but
Like
here's the problem with Shakespeare. You know what's going on the first time he says something, and then he has to say it 7 different ways from Sunday for it to be Shakespeare. He has to say, oh, but the hithery-tithery of the litany-da, and the shadow of this, and it's compared to that, and I'm a this, and I'm a that, and da-da-da-da-da. And that's Shakespeare, because he just goes on and on and on and on and on. And it's lovely floral language, and I love hearing it, and I love people speaking it. But at the end of the day, they had to cut out all of that, take it down to like, okay, Romeo and Juliet moments, bam, 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 bam. Okay, here's a bit of comedy, but there's no comedy dialogue. You know, the way that it's said or the expressions that the actors have make it a comedy. But
I debate that. There is comedy dialogue in Romeo and Juliet. There is like, ask for me tomorrow, you shall find me a grave man. That's a joke. Like there is.
Oh, but like.
You don't like the fact that you have to look for the comedy, Jamie? Is that what you're saying?
No. I have no problem with looking for comedy, but like that's a poor excuse for comedy, and it's not even your joke. You know how old that joke is? The man that wrote it is dead. That's how old that joke is.
Jamie, you just
what joke you give me about? They're using a script from that man, so it is his joke.
He did.
Yeah.
It's an old joke, and
the whole script is by that man.
What I'm saying is that if the only comedy that who William Shakespeare.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying.
I shall find me a grave man. That's from the original play.
Tell me the context of that joke.
That is Mercutio about to die, making his last joke, and because he is like a joker, and that's his last joke. Ask for me tomorrow, and you shall find me a grave man. Because he'll be in a grave.
You know what? If someone did that to me, I would like, huh?
Yeah, okay, but 300 years ago, they didn't have fucking fart jokes. Okay?
No excuse! No excuse! This movie is less than 30 years old. No excuse. So, that's why I said,
what do you mean they used old, like the original script?
I'm not criticizing, like I said, I'm not criticizing the writing. I'm not. I haven't criticized the writing. I'm saying the story, because everything tells a story. I could tell a story about my 2 hands here and now and say, oh, this is Mr. One Hand and this is Mr. Second Hand. Oh, hello. It doesn't need to make sense and it doesn't need to be fancy dialogue. But what I'm saying is the story is leaves a lot to be desired, because you can't just slap on someone else's script and say, well, there you go. It's bulletproof now because I didn't write it.
I'll make sure to pass that on to William Shakespeare when I see him.
No, pass it on to Baz Luhrmann. He seems to be fucking taking all the checks for him.
Dude, you just hate. I never actually realized how much you hate Baz Luhrmann.
I don't like Baz Luhrmann.
Like, if anyone else made this movie exactly like this, you'd be like, well done. Good job. Well done.
Maybe I'm biased.
I feel like you are, at least a little bit.
Maybe a little bit. But David, I admit my bias.
Baz Luhrmann ever did you? Really? Like, come on now.
He disagrees with some of Baz's opinions.
I don't like his directing style, and I think he's a bit arrogant. And his name is Baz. Like, that's just, whatever. Anyway, so Leonardo DiCaprio goes over to Juliet and is whispering sweet somethings into her ear. And effectively, what happens? The Cuban guy, is Darren gone? I think Darren has left the building. His smiley head is there, but
at least he's smiling.
He left smiling.
It's all you now, Jay.
It's all me. There's so much hate. So what happens? The Cuban guy stood up at the top of the stairs, and he's basically like, these guys are here, and I can't do a Cuban accent. These guys are here. And,
where in the world are you even trying to do a Cuban accent in that?
He was from Cornwall originally.
Okay.
So he's like, these guys are here. Get out of here, you guys. And they do. But then Romeo climbs up a little bit of bush on the side of the building to get up to Juliet. So he gets on up there, and she says her famous line, "Oh, Romeo, Romeo, where art thou, Romeo?" And again, that fell a little bit flat for me, you know, but they fall in the water, and they're in the water for a little bit, and
That's one of your unnecessary sex appeal scenes. I'll give you that one.
them falling in the water. I think
Yes.
they kind of needed to have that falling in the water. Oh, he's back. Hey, Darren.
Sorry, I don't know what happened. We fucking camera went off there, lad. Sorry.
It's
Where
Baz
are we?
Luhrmann. He's like,
Oh.
that's it, ending the scream.
Where they're in the water. Sorry, the two of them. Yeah.
They're both in the water and they're having a jolly good time of it. And then we get to Romeo's dad cooking up a bit of herb in his alchemical studio, I guess, with two random kids. Why? Who are these kids?
That's not Romeo's dad. That's Friar Lawrence. Father
I
Lawrence.
thought that was his dad.
No. The guy in the back of the
He's
limo
his
with the
father.
white hair was his dad.
Oh, right, okay.
Jamie, you're watching a whole different movie, buddy.
Yep.
Told you. I
And
thought that was his
we were
dad.
watching, you honestly thought it was crap. No, that was the priest. That's who they go to.
I knew he was the priest. I actually didn't think for a second. Hang on a second. Priest can't have children. But never mind.
Boss on his back.
So who are the kids? Who are the kids? Are they the altar boys? Are they?
It seems like he's teaching like botanicals or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know. I should have said this, I didn't know the full story, or I didn't know fucking any of the story of Romeo and Juliet. I knew they died and all that. I knew that part, but like I didn't know any of the story. Now, like I'd like to actually watch the play of it now, because I didn't know who was who and what the fuck was happening. But actually, from this, I know you wouldn't agree with Jamie. I enjoyed this
Interpretation.
rather than seeing the play first. Yeah, I'm not a big I wouldn't be a big Shakespeare person. I wouldn't drive me to go see a fucking another Shakespeare movie. But I think because this is modernized, that's the reason I like this. So I would go see it.
I like Merchant of Venice. That would have been good to see.
I've never seen and here's the question. It might be really fucking stupid. Are Romeo and Juliet real people? Is this just something he came up with, or is this like based on
Derry?
an actual?
It is based. So the families are based on old Italian political factions.
Okay.
I can't remember the names of them completely, and the story is based on somebody else's original story, of course, as Shakespeare likes to do.
Okay.
He robbed
But
it,
yes.
I think.
Okay.
I don't know that they were real people, but they are based on real families.
So
I don't know if the events were real.
Okay, cool. A little bit
He
of
made it
cool.
up. He's making it up as he goes along.
Oh God! If only there wasn't such a thing as fiction.
Not in today's society, Derry. So, he's brewing some concoction with the altar boys in the rectory.
Just sounds bad.
And doesn't.
If you've just joined us,
Have you just joined us? We're talking about little boys and rectories and priests. So Leonardo DiCaprio appears at the priest's church for reasons.
He wants
he's
to
a
ask.
confidant, basically.
Yeah. But does he not?
Right.
Is he not? He wants to ask Mary? No.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. He needs the priest in on the plan to have the secret wedding with Juliet.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's right. So that leads to more questions later on at the end of the movie. So he is like, "Oh, I want to marry Juliet," and the priest is like, "Nope," or he says, "Yeah."
He's basically like,
What are you
"Oh,
talking
I'm
about?"
so glad you're over Rosaline. Oh shit, there's another one."
Okay, yeah.
Basically.
And then we go to Mercurio with his top off.
Actually, I will just add to that. The reason that the priest goes along with the plan, and there's a bit of a kind of a flash in there, is that he sees it as a way to possibly join the Capulet and Montague families and create peace. That's why he goes along with it.
Yeah.
Peacemaker.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
So, Mercutio.
Mercutio.
Yep, he's there. and they're all on the beach again, and I don't know, he's mad about something. What's he mad about?
He's not that he left. Leonardo DiCaprio left them at the end of the party. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
think it was because
now he's not going to go with them again.
Yeah.
And then
Saying
he goes up, and Leonardo
The
DiCaprio
nurse
sees
called Leonardo DiCaprio away, and then he's like, "Are you going to come see your father?" Yeah.
The Italian maid lady. She's there,
Nurse.
and she starts talking about. No, I thought she was talking about Juliet.
Yeah.
She's
She's like, you stay away from Juliet.
No. She's
No,
like, are your intentions real?
Yeah.
Yeah, but she went there to be
Then when he says to her about married, like tell her to come to Father Lawrence. What is it called there? What's his name?
Father Lawrence.
Father Lawrence. When he says to the nurse, tell her to come to Father Lawrence, to, for marriage. She's like, oh, he's true and he's just and he's. So then she's happy. That's why she smiles and gives a slap in the face.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, he didn't just feed her a load of shit last night. He's actually putting a plan in place.
But then the Cubans turn up in their sleek outfits.
Or the Capulets, as most people would refer to them.
They're putting a Capulet in your assulet.
Capulets.
So they're coming to put caps in people's asses, and Leonardo DiCaprio is like, "Hey, bitch, I ain't gonna fight you. I'm gonna walk away." And then the Cuban guy's like, "Hey, you don't walk away from me," and starts punching him. And then Leonardo DiCaprio's like, "No, you don't do that. I'm gonna shoot you." And then he says, "No, you shoot me."
Okay. So basically, this is after the wedding.
Yeah.
How did we get this far?
No, this isn't after the wedding.
This is not after the wedding?
This is after the wedding. They were married.
The reason that he won't fight Tybalt is because he's married to his cousin now, so it must be after the wedding.
Because he has a suit on, so he's wearing a suit.
Yeah, this is after the wedding. Have you skipped?
Which wedding?
Oh my god.
Romeo and Juliet's wedding.
No, they haven't gotten married yet, have they? Oh, they do get married.
Yes,
do they?
There you go. Yes.
That's why he wouldn't. But I have to say, like...
So he wouldn't fight Tybalt because Tybalt is now family because he's now married to Juliet.
Right.
And Tybalt doesn't know they're married, so he's like, you're just a piece of chicken shit, basically.
When did they get married in that?
Before that scene.
So hang on a second. He was with the priest, and then they're at the beach, and they got married in between that.
So, I think you skipped.
I think you have it. Stop, Jamie, in the photos, the screenshots. There's something before, because there's a scene in after he talks to the priest.
No, is there? What's the scene after he talks to the priest?
No, right. So he talks
those
to
poor altar boys.
Yeah, he's fuck's sake. He talks to the priest, and then you see him showing up at the beach, and then this is where Mercutio and the lads actually have a fucking they have the guns and stuff. But he shows up in his Hawaiian shirt. So after that, then you see them get married.
Oh, I must have skipped that part. Sorry, in the screenshot.
Okay. Well, they have a secret wedding anyway, and
they have a secret. They elope.
Yes,
they go to Gretna Green and they have a nice little wedding there, and they're back on the beach, and then they have a little bit of a tiffle, a little bit of a scuffle.
John Leguizamo is fucking amazing in this movie.
So good. So
he's not to be like. I think he's just like a beautiful man. Like he's just a fucking. Like he's like penciled in this fucking movie. His hair is perfect.
Yeah.
He's so perfectly cast in this movie. Like he's fucking amazing. And then when I think that he did Sid in Ice Age, I'm just like, what a legend.
So Mercutio gets a little bit angry, and then he gets stabbed. He's mortally wounded, but he's okay. He looks just like he's okay for a minute, just a scratch. But then he dies. He dies after walking away for a bit, and
so he's like pissed at the Capulets, obviously, and he is pissed at Romeo for not fighting back and letting it happen to him. Yeah. So that's why he's like, "Plague both your houses."
On both your houses.
And then they're in a car race.
This is the bit that I was fucking couldn't understand.
How long is this fight going on for? Like, it's the middle of the night at this point.
It just cuts like after
Well,
Mercutio
that's at
done.
sunset.
DiCaprio was crying and all this, and he jumps in the car, and that's grand. And all of a sudden, then I didn't understand that he was going after the lads in the car. I didn't understand that. I was like, I can understand it now after seeing it, but I'm like, it cut straight to it where the lads are driving and Leonardo DiCaprio is screaming, but it didn't create a clear picture of he was actually trying to kill these guys in the car until you see him hitting the car and he shooting their man on the steps. I didn't have a clue what the
So
fuck was going on.
they collide on the car, and then John Leguizamo is like pointing a gun at his head, and DiCaprio's like, shoot me, and then John Leguizamo is like, no, and then Leonardo DiCaprio's like, I'll shoot you then, and he did.
That's a great description of Jamie.
Well done.
He did
Like,
shoot him. And he was like, what have I done? No! I shot him!
I will say, Leonardo DiCaprio, for those crying in the rain scenes, there's no. He does a big Shawshank Redemption fucking cry.
He does extreme emotion very well.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah. Like, I'd say if he ever played a drug addict, he'd be
Basketball
amazing.
Diaries. Watch Basketball Diaries.
Okay, okie doke. I'll watch it tonight. Fuck it.
So Leonardo DiCaprio was shocked that one of the guns he's been carrying around and waving around has actually murdered somebody. Like, oh my god, why do I have this thing? And he puts it down and he pushes it away. And
That was
way
his
too
gun.
dangerous.
That was Tybalt's gun.
That was Tibbles gun, yeah.
Well, whatever.
He took
The gun that I've been carrying around. Oh wait, no, it's not actually his gun.
Whatever, hang on. He's like, oh god, I've been carrying around one of these things? So, so this is where it starts to break down between reality, what they're trying to show, and the story, which is he gets banished, which probably wouldn't really happen, getting banished.
Not now, it wouldn't.
No, but this is this is the commissioner of the police going, he's banished from the city.
Yeah, but I think they did a good job of mixing Shakespearean tales.
I think they could have just written a line that basically said, "Okay, he's on the run," and that's it. I would have been fine with that. Not banished.
You just didn't want him to talk Shakespeare, that's all, Jamie. That's all.
Well, he also goes to the apothecary and said, "Well, here's my gold," and he obviously was holding cash money, like so.
I know. I heard that bit too.
Yeah.
So with that has yet to come.
It's more like slang.
Why is the police commissioner? You're only saying that because he's black, Derry.
Hang on, what? I wasn't talking about him.
My goodness.
He said
he's gold for money. It's
banished. That part. Banished.
I'm
He says
lost.
banished. The police commissioner.
Why does he banish someone?
No, well, he says the word banished.
Okay. Because he's being dramatic, I guess.
He's been, hey, police chief, we haven't banished someone since the time of Shakespeare. Shut up! This is my speech and I'll have it, Dewith. Ewith. Get out of here.
I think he delivered it great. I think it was fucking great.
I think it was fantastic.
I think he was one of the better actors in this movie.
He was a great actor.
Yeah.
He was a great actor. So
Paul Rudd is this where Paul Rudd's on the... Yeah.
Paul Rudd has a load of roses, and he's like, my lady, trying to get Juliet.
In these times of woe, there's no time to woo. I'm like, Paul, shut up. Just stop it. Just stop. I love you. You're killing my whole love for you by talking like that.
But thankfully, Leonardo DiCaprio has managed to scale the building and get his horn away anyway, like Jack Russell with Bone. He managed to make his way up the side of the building and get a little bit of love and action with his 14-year-old girlfriend.
But here's your Capulet.
Hey, I'll cap your lad. So he takes off his top. He's like, oh, I'm so damaged and bruised externally and internally too, because I have a deep soul and feelings. That's what I feel like that. And there was candles around, so I'm into this. Says 14-year-old Leonardo DiCaprio. and this
I
is
kind
where
of
I
tuned out of
feel
like,
a little bit
no,
awkward.
I'm just
I'm like, hey, this is wrong. But anyway, they wake up. Oh no, wait, sorry. Then we get a bit. Hang on a second. I think I.
no. This happens, and then
Yeah, no.
the
They
next,
wake up. They wake up beside each other, and
yeah.
after sleeping with each other, I hope they use protection. And I just don't mean a silencer or putting their safety on their swords.
Oh, badum.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
well done.
Is your
Are you
safety
proud
on,
of yourself?
Juliet?
You proud of yourself for that joke?
Yeah. No, but I'll put
Was
my
that joke
diaphragm
300
in
years
right
old as
now.
well?
That's actually younger than any joke that's in this fucking movie. They didn't have
It shows it's inexperienced.
Fucking hell.
more
These
experience than a
people-
14-year-old with a gun. Okay? So,
Anyway, her mom comes
Continuing.
in the room. Or no, the
and
nurse comes
frightens
in.
him away.
Yeah.
Hmm?
The nurse comes in the room, her mom comes in. And this is like, I like the guy who plays her father. He's like in all those fucking Goodfellas and mob movies. He's like
Yes.
a typecast actor. He was in Sopranos and everything. He's a fucking great
This
actor.
scene with him actually is fantastic, where he gets angry. I know it's obviously a horrible part of the story, but like the way he played it was really, really good. I love that scene.
Brilliant.
And he's like shaking his face, and his cheeks are
Yeah.
wobbling. He's like,
Bulldog. He's like, I hate, but I don't like I can't take to Claire Danes. I know
No.
she back then she was like an up and coming like next fucking Meryl Streep apparently, but I can't take to her at all.
No,
I
like I
think
will
she
say
was-
she was very good in this scene as well. But I think, and we talked about this in Spider-Man, that kind of Kirsten Dunst, that kind of doe-eyed, long, faraway stare sort of thing, and Claire Danes does that a lot. But I think in this scene, she was really, really good.
Yeah, but you know what, Derry? I read up a little bit about her. She was a theatre major. She actually this is what she studied. She studied in Shakespeare and Hamlet and all those. Like she did all those on stage.
Right.
So if anybody, she should have been fucking amazing in this.
Yeah.
But again, I think her or Leo were particularly fucking amazing. Then again, I've never seen the play, so I don't know if title characters are supposed to be the best characters in the whole thing. And that might sound stupid, but
I think no matter how hard they tried, and that probably proves it, the fact that you could get someone that is experienced in Shakespeare, not being able to pull off a good Shakespeare because the atmosphere is
It's a different environment.
it's a different environment, so it's always going to look out of place. Like I said, you're watching something that your ears are hearing something completely different.
But apparently,
and
her
I
and
ju- it
Leo
just
didn't get on that well either.
no.
Apparently, her and Leo didn't get along that well either.
Well, it didn't come across in the film, so that's good.
Well, what she said about it was as a joke, and it's funny. It was very funny because they did the interview back then, and they're like, "When is their first kiss in the water?" That was the first time they had a scene, and she said like in front of him, he was very handsy. He like laughed. You could tell he was like, "How fucking dare you?" It was in his face. Was like he was got red in the face. I was like, "Oh my god."
You know what? I believe her.
Clara Danes, you're Clara Duns in this town.
Jesus Christ.
That's what I would have said if I was his power at that time. I would have been totally Me Too'd by now. I would have been like Weinstein like 10 years ago.
Fucking hell. Let's end that conversation right there.
You can't clip it. It's always here. So they have a little bit of sex, and he gets scooted out like a dirty raccoon in the morning. So
Analogies.
with like a nibbled bit of drumstick in his mouth with a bit of thigh bone. So
Ooh,
Paul Rudd and Claire Danes are preparing for their marriage, which is illegal because she's already married. And
well, I mean, she's also 14, so what laws are we talking about here?
Let's not start poke holes in this thing here.
oh no, we can go on all night. I can think about plenty of holes to poke.
Let's not.
Well, so can Leo. So
I was waiting for it. I
Am I
knew
getting a laugh
fucking.
for that one? Am I getting any laugh for that one?
No. No,
No,
sorry.
no, hey, we'd know if your video was on, Derry. I feel like there would be a laugh. So Paul Rudd is like, hey, have you done your confession yet? And Claire Danes has been like, So she goes back in the background, to, I don't know, have a bit of a I don't know, shooting match
Yeah,
with
but
herself
this
and a gun.
is the part that I actually liked. This is the only part in the whole movie that, you know, when she's going to shoot herself and then she points the gun to her man, that tiny bit of acting that she did there was the only time.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I was like, oh wow, okay, fair enough. Why the fuck would you do that to the whole movie? But I enjoyed that. Like, maybe it's because she worked off him and he's a fucking fantastic actor. But like, that was the only bit through the whole movie I liked. Even at the end of it, I didn't feel that really by her. But this part, I was like, yes, that was
No,
good.
I think the fight with her father and this scene, I think, is
No,
where she really shone.
her father was fucking great. He was shaking her and she was like, oh God. And I was like, no, I didn't particularly like her part. Even the mother, when she turns around to the mother and she tries to talk to her, and the mother says, talk to me not, and she walks away. I thought the mother's reaction was fucking brilliant.
I love her. I don't know who is that actress.
I thought that was your one that's in American Horror Story.
I think it is.
No,
I think
it's not.
she's a very
No.
she's familiar
No,
looking.
it's not. She looks identical to her. What's your one in American Horror Story? Jessica Lange, is it?
Jessica Lange.
Yeah, I thought this Jessica Lange, but it's not. I was like, oh. And then your one that is in it, she's gonna have to do like 4 or 5 things there. She have to do a whole lot at
Really,
all.
I love her in this. I think she's so
She's an
good.
old actress. She's an older actress.
Yeah.
But she's fucking great, man. She's brilliant in it. But I just didn't like Claire Danes. I think she's very vanilla.
Yeah.
She's not a lot. I've only seen her 1 or 2 things, but I suppose the two of them worked well together. DiCaprio and her, they kind of matched each other. There was no really up or down. If I had to pick it between them, I think DiCaprio obviously was better than she was not.
Yeah.
But yeah, they both of them didn't do it. As I said, the title characters in the movie don't really have to. You know, it didn't rely on the title characters, which is a fucking great thing, I think. And that's all I'd say.
One thing that I have to say about the next scene: beware of priests bearing poison.
Yeah.
Did that happen in the play?
Everything happened in the play.
Did a priest give Juliet poison?
Yeah, it's not necessarily a poison. It's more like some sort of a chemical that would make her fake dead for like 24 hours.
Fake dead.
Yeah.
Not really.
Basically, put her into a coma, a temporary coma.
Put her into a coma. So she struggles with it, and then she says, "Yeah, go on." So she goes home that night and swigs it off, and then the next day there's a huge, big funeral. I will say that the blue neon lights on those crucifixes don't look tacky at all. They actually make it look really nice.
Yeah.
Is that sarcasm?
No, it isn't.
Oh, okay. Because that's one of the visuals that I really do love. Yeah.
You would really think if someone said, you know what, let's put some blue, baby blue neon lights under those crucifixes for John's funeral there, and they I don't think so, and then they did it.
Do you know what though? I think if I saw it in real life, I would hate it.
But imagine going up the road and seeing that. Oh, that'd be the best. What the fuck did they die of?
in the context of the movie and the art direction, like it absolutely works.
What I'll say is that there's never been a problem with art direction in this film at all.
Yeah.
All of it blends so smoothly, and I could have turned off the dialogue and had a great.
I think they got an Oscar for art direction.
Hey, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. Everything else is lies. So the funeral happens, and she's kept there, in the church, probably cold, but semi-conscious.
Yeah.
Rob,
the priest is supposed to send letters to.
He sends a letter to Leonardo DiCaprio to basically say that she's not dead, but she's kind of dead, and to come back and get her. But he doesn't know that because he was at the back hitting cans with bits of wood.
Now, what I will say is in the original play, it is that the townspeople of Mantua won't let the postmaster in because they're afraid of letting the plague in. So that's why he doesn't get the letter.
Oh,
I know. I can relate to that.
In this movie, was it the post office?
They're isolating.
No, he puts down a little thing and it's like he misses the delivery basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's at the back hitting a few cans with a bit of wood.
Oh no! But then the priest goes to the when your one is gonna wake up. He's checking his watch, the priest, and he goes to the post office to find out about the letter, and he says, "Oh, we couldn't deliver your letter."
Yeah.
Yeah, we couldn't get anyone to go
It was
back
too
with
late
it,
by that
basically.
stage, though, because they were basically
Yeah,
going to
okay.
bury her. And he was like, oh shit, I better say something. I can't I know that she's not dead. Imagine being in that position where they're like lowering her body down in, and she's like, should I really tell someone at this
Should I say
stage
something?
she's alive? Is that her banging on the grave? I can't hear anything. No, it's definitely her. Quickly, get her out of here. So you can tell.
And then
I'll
she'd be
never a
staked
priest.
through the heart for being a vampire.
Not in this day. Well, you wouldn't know with these types of people. They're talking like it was 300 years ago. They could believe anything. That would have been
Then
a
we
great
have
twist. Just
the next scene.
stabbing her in the heart. Oh.
Looking all badass, smoking and hair blowing in the wind and shit.
She will become one herself. No? Have you ever seen that film?
Which one is that?
Dracula Dead and Loving It? Mel
No.
Brooks?
Love it, Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah!
Oh, yes, I have seen it.
I
long
love
ago.
this chicken. Chicken. Yeah. Guess what my pick is going to be. So, hey, DiCaprio's like sitting out in the desert somewhere in a caravan, smoking some cigarettes, writing in a diary, and I'm like, oh, shut up, Leo.
Yeah, see, and this is what I was saying. If it was modern language, it would be so sickly, over-romantic, horrible. But because it's like Shakespeare sonnets and poetry and stuff, you give it a pass.
I didn't.
Mentally, you're like, okay.
I would have preferred it. It would have felt like a Stand By Me.
Just-
It would have felt like a Stand By Me kind of like kids swearing kind of thing, rather than a kids feeling like they're, the best shit around because they know Shakespeare. And that's what I always feel like when kids try and do this. They're like, yeah, I'm down with Shakespeare. It's like, you don't care shit about Shakespeare. So he's smoking, and Balthazar comes along and gives him the bad news. She's dead. She's in the church. And he goes, I fucking hate you, stars. Because they had something to do with it. He's really nice eyebrows in this. I have to say, very nice eyebrows.
He does.
He does very nice eyebrows.
Was that not the whole point? Damn you stars, because they're star-crossed lovers.
Well, like heavens, God, whoever the person divining the universe. I guess that's what that means.
Never really understood. I just thought that was a lot. Yeah. Okay. Fucking yeah.
Damn you, famous people! You killed her. So they speed off like in Mad Max, and that's the sound of a car.
Well done. That's one of your better impressions. It's better than your Cuban voice, where your Cuban accent a while ago.
I'm from Cuba. I am.
Oh, Darren, did you miss that?
Technically, they're in the Caribbean, so people like that would have spoken like that 300 years ago. Sure. Thou art the pirate who are from Cuba.
100%.
I left me booty in Cuba. So, the city finds out. This is the funniest part in it, okay? And this is where things start to get a little bit hilarious. There's a teenager on the run. Get in the helicopters. Get the helicopters in. We don't know what this 14-year-old is going to do. So they get the helicopters in, and then they get the SWAT team in. And
I will defend this.
There's already like millions of dollars. Okay, because he's a famous child, is it? Is that why it is?
Well, if you see, the helicopters came out at the beginning as well for Benvolio and Tybalt at the petrol station, the gas station. So, like, basically what you're saying is that these things have the potential to turn into, like, gang warfare. So,
right,
if Romeo is blasting into the city when he's supposed to be banished, and he's got literally guns blazing, and he's running around like a madman, someone's gonna die, basically. So they're gonna nip this shit in the bud.
My only problem is they didn't have helicopters when in Shakespeare times.
They didn't fucking have swords and cars either. And actually, when was Leonardo da Vinci? When was his time? Because didn't he invent a helicopter?
That was, yes.
Yeah.
But it was made of wood, Derry. It was made of wood.
Still, shut up.
It was never tested, okay? It was never
They're
tested.
nitpicky.
You and your knowledge. So, you watching too much Ancient Aliens, that's your problem. You one up me with your knowledge of fictional helicopters of wood. So, they're flying in the helicopter, and the commissioner is like, "Oh, Leo's back. You get him." And they do. They drive up, and Leo's back, but only for one thing. To get some yellow poison from a creepy old man in a shitty old little place. This is the, like, alchemical guy, isn't it?
Apothecary, yeah.
The apothecary. It's
He got the poison before he went. Was it?
Yeah, he came back from the desert, and then he got the poison there from the man.
So
That looks
who the
like
fuck
duck,
is the guy?
like toilet
Who's
duck.
the guy who gets the poison off? Who the fuck is that guy?
He's just an apothecary.
Oh, who's the actor?
No, because he wasn't. Not the.
Oh, he was in it at the start. He was in it at the start briefly.
Okay, that's good. I was thinking I didn't see him before. Okay,
He's there, and Leo was like, "Oh, I'll take some of that." So he takes it, and then he goes to the church, and then threatens to shoot someone at the steps on the church. And people are shooting him, and he's like, "No, I want to kill myself. Don't kill me." To the people, I want to die my way. So he goes in the church, and he blocks the door, and then he's immediately blinded by all the neon lights. He's like, "Oh, Jesus Christ, what kind of a gaudy funeral is this?" But he manages to get past that.
If you go before me, I'm going to put these neon crosses up at your funeral.
Oh, please do. Please do. And play the full soundtrack to Romeo and Juliet. Invite Baz Luhrmann. So Leo has no problem with taking advantage of a dead body. He gets a little bit of necrophilia in before, he was like, you know what? If I'm not going to hell before I did this, like by killing someone in cold blood, I'm going to have sex with this corpse and make sure I go to hell.
That's a bit of an over exaggeration.
That's what I got from it. Sorry. I had some weird subtitles on. I don't know.
I mean,
it was giving citations for things that weren't in the film.
You keep kind of conflating kisses with actual sex, and that's worrisome.
I don't know where his hand was. Okay.
Where are yours?
Show your hand, Jamie.
They're on my bottle.
They
Firmly
don't.
on my bottle. So
I thought the bit where he's where he looks, before he starts walking up the aisle, and he's looking out, and you see as I said, we've all said the visual aspect is fucking phenomenal. But where he's walking, you have the red light on him, and all the candles, and it's fucking beautiful. It's so it's visually spectacular. That part, it's all visually great, but that part alone is amazing. And this is the part where through the whole movie I was like, nah, I'm not really feeling it. It's supposed to be fucking Romeo and Juliet, and even though you don't know, I've never seen it before, never seen that about Romeo and Juliet, I'm supposed to feel something with these characters. And I have to say, man, when he was sitting beside her, when he was like holding her face and giving that dialogue, I noticed by the end of the movie I hadn't taken my eyes off the screen. So he did grab me in the last fucking scene. I have to say that. That's what I will say. Like her fucking yelp at the end of it, out of nowhere, that she's supposed to be crying, and it didn't come off really. But his performance there I was like, wow.
That like kind of cry at the end. Yeah. That
what the fuck? Like,
that broke me out of the moment, definitely.
She looked a bit ugly at that point.
Yeah.
I have no problem with ugly crying. Ugly crying is more real. But it was just that
DiCaprio looked much better looking when he cried. I'm just saying.
I mean, the man is just beautiful. So
yeah, it was. He is a good looking. His performance, dear man, was like.
It looked like Blade Runner died. That's what That's what the funeral looked like.
Oh,
It looked like Blade Runner is dead right there. Ridley Scott is in the back. So he
did
has
you-
a little bit of a drink of the toilet duck, and he has a little sup of that, and she's like, "Oh, I'm kind of waking up, but give me 5 more minutes. I'm awake, but I'm not gonna say anything. When you're with your partner in bed and you're awake and they're awake, and they don't want to say anything because they just want 5 more minutes. They're like, I've been literally lying in my own filth for probably a week now. I've been embalmed, I presume by that point. They've removed all of my intestines, but I just need 5 more minutes because they're
What
gonna.
movie is he watching?
what kind of movie are you watching?
Well, I'm just thinking they wouldn't keep they would have had to embalm her before putting her up on that plinth.
No, it was only like this was basically like it was only
It's
28
only
hours.
24 hours.
So they only put her up there as like leaving her rest there for the night before
But
they
she's
take her
having
off.
a bit of a. She's like, okay, fair enough. 24 hours afterwards, she wakes up and she's like,
Maybe we're the
What,
And then
you're
Leo-
expecting like the Austin Powers coming out of the
No,
frozen
I would have
chamber and
expected-
peeing for like
I-
6 hours.
I would have expected like my eyes open and going, where am I? Oh my God, Leo! Instead of going, twitch your finger, little smile. Oh, there he
But
is.
she did. She opened her eyes. She spotted Leo. She probably hasn't, like, in my mind, how I interpreted that was that, like, she opened her eyes. She hasn't got her full senses back yet. So, like, she's not able, her motor functions, that's what I'm thinking. Like, her motor functions aren't fully back yet.
Will I do the car noise again?
Ha
Go
ha
for it.
ha 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 ha.
which
So-
end did that come out, Jamie?
So he
Same
has
end as all of his, everything he
Yeah.
said tonight.
He has a little toilet duck, and
Yeah, but this
But
this
then-
was very this is
but
very
then he has a
theatre
shocked
to me.
face.
This is the most theatre bit because a second you don't even see him drinking it. He goes to put it to his lips and he goes,
Yeah.
and he's like all of a sudden then, oh my God, now I'm feeling it. Like it was the only bit where he didn't do a good bit of acting, but I can forgive him because he's Leonardo DiCaprio.
I feel like he forgets things are dangerous. Like he shot that guy, and he was like, "What the fuck?" And then he drank some poison. He was like, "I'm gonna die." He doesn't understand consequences, I think.
He didn't know she was going to wake up. So obviously it was like, shit, I'm after drinking it now.
I pretty much knew that the guy was gonna die, though, and he looked pretty shocked when he did that, though.
Yeah, but he didn't know that she was going to wake up. He was shocked that she woke up, not that he was going to die.
It's 1996. If he hasn't read Shakespeare by that stage, it's his own fault.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah, true. See your point, Jamie. See your point.
Thank you, darling. So,
I don't agree
Then
with you, but I can
Juliet-
see your point.
So Juliet wakes up and she's like, "Oh no, what have I done? I pretended to be poisoned and then he's poisoned." What she didn't think is maybe he's pretending to be poisoned.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
she just sat there for like 20 minutes going,
I am going to agree wholeheartedly with you on that point. It's like, why did she not wait and make sure that he wasn't fucking faking it first?
imagine if he woke up and then he was like, "Oh no, double bluff. I'm only joking. Oh no, wait, bam." Gotcha. Oh shit. So she puts a bullet in her head, and that's Romeo and Juliet.
So I feel like the bit that we're missing in this is that Paris is actually supposed to be crying at her side when Romeo walks in, which means that Romeo should have walked in and killed him. And I kind of would have liked to have seen Leonardo DiCaprio shooting Paul Rudd. I think that would have
Hey,
been...
that wouldn't have been fun. I would have liked that because there's a lot of slow motion in it, and it would have been like, imagine GIFs we would have now of Paul Rudd being like, bam, 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 bam.
Now, so in the play, obviously she doesn't fucking shoot herself. So what does she do? Does she stab herself with a sword or something?
It's a dagger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she should have gotten like one of those stiletto pistols out, and then I would have like zoomed in and it would have said Duggar on it, and she would have went, "Oh," and just.
I got you.
Or it would have been like 3 months later, and then it would have been like she wakes up in like a hospital and like half her head is gone.
Wow, we're really
A whole Birdman situation going on there.
moving away
There
from
you
the
go. One continuous
script.
shot.
But I do like the fact that that's not the end of it. I was like, because obviously I'd never seen this movie. I was like, I hope to God they show something after this now.
The commissioner comes out and basically, yeah.
And basically the families, because I think in the play, I've only read bits and pieces, but in the play the families like come to peace then, don't they?
They make peace, yeah.
Yeah. From the so basically for their love for what does he say? Their love brought this hatred and it brought them together. I don't know, fucking something like that.
I'm glad those kids died.
Yeah.
For
they had
the
to die
sake
for
of the family.
They were too fucking emo.
They were. They deserved it.
Yeah. So, go on. Your rate, what do you give it, Jamie?
My rating for Romeo and Juliet, or sorry, William Shakespeare's Romeo plus Juliet equals, I will give it five Lermans out of 10 Bazes.
I'm surprised. That's impressive. I didn't think you'd go that high.
Yeah, well, you know, I'll give it the middle ground because, in fairness, it was a visual treat that I wanted to get sick on.
Yeah, I can understand that. I can understand that.
Darren?
I can't even think of any like funny ways to put it. I'm just gonna give it a solid 7 out of 10. I give it a solid fake
Vials
deaths
of poison. How many vials of poison? How many bullets would you have to put in your head to watch this again?
I give it 7 Paul Rudds out of 10 Paul Rudds.
Oh, there we go. I like it.
That's a lot of Paul Rudds.
That's a lot of Rudds.
It's a lot of Paul Rudds in a bad role.
Because I think it's visually, for the times, it's fucking visually great. It's lovely. It's such a visually beautiful movie.
Yeah.
It was my kind of introduction to Romeo and Juliet. As many people will fucking roast me online for that, but it was my introduction, and I would go to watch the play from it. I enjoyed it. Look, as I said to you, if I didn't hate it, then it's a win. It's a win-win. And I
didn't hate this either. How about that? Yeah.
Let's just say.
Well, I'm going to call that a win.
Yeah, you can take that, Derry. What would your rating be, Derry?
I'm obviously going to give it a 9.
A 9.
Yes. I am not going to. It's not going to go as far as It's a Wonderful Life, because I do have some issues with it, with continuity and all this kind of stuff, and changes that they made. There are things that I would like to see, but yeah, I loved it. I love the visuals like that. I think I said that too. I loved it more for the visuals than anything else, and the clash of the language and this oversaturated modern visual kind of environment. So yeah, that's what I love about it.
So 9 fake Shakespeares out of 10 fake Shakespeares. I like it.
Yes.
So that was not a bad movie, I have to say.
That you shit all over.
I was just going to
shit all over everything.
You shit all over it, and then you're like, it's not a bad movie.
I hated this movie.
It's middle and 5. Hey, when we start watching movies that are like 2s and 3s, get back to me, because if I can give out about a 5 that much.
I didn't think you were going to give it a 5. I was like, when you said 5, I was like, maybe my audio is wrong on this thing here.
No, I'm fair. I'm a fair judge. I just have a lot to say. I
honestly
don't think I've given
like 3.
I haven't given anything even a 10 yet. I've given 9.5s.
Yeah.
No 10s. No 10s. I don't even.
I gave A Wonderful Life and I only gave Wonderful Life 10 so far.
We should create an Excel sheet of the ratings.
No, I gave Dumb and Dumber 9.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was high.
I gave It's a Wonderful Life 10, and I feel like that's my benchmark now. If it's not as good as It's a Wonderful Life, it's not getting a 10.
I'm glad I introduced it into that film then.
Yeah. So
wait, you had seen that beforehand, didn't you, Derek?
I had seen it, yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
So, come join us next week if we can maybe achieve It's a Wonderful Life status instead of Romeo and Juliet status. Are we announcing whose film pick is it next week?
Oh damn! All right. Whose turn did I steal?
My turn.
Your turn. Okay.
But technically, you stole my turn.
Well,
really?
Yeah. No, Jamie was supposed to be next, and then I stole his turn because I insisted. So.
Yeah, because I was last, because you had Dumb and Dumber, and then it was meant to be mine, but Derry stole it from me.
Do you remember you texted me saying, could you have Valentine's Day?
Oh, yes, but then we skipped a week, and then we skipped another week.
Jamie, you just take this one, buddy. you just go
I'm
with
gonna
this one.
take this one, and I'm gonna decide.
You had one picked. Are we still going with that?
Well, I'm after watching it twice, and I'll happily talk about that movie.
Let's watch Super Mario Brothers the movie. That's the movie of next week, next Sunday. We'll be here probably 7:30ish. We're changing up times. We're keeping it easy. We're keeping it frequent as much as we can. So watch Super Mario Brothers the movie next Sunday, and it'll be a treat. I'll be so prepared. I'll play lots of Mario in preparation also.
Is
Yeah.
that John Leguizamo? Like,
He's
what?
also in that. John
This
Leguizamo.
is, I
Yes.
was like, yes. I saw this tonight. I was like, oh my god, John played Luigi.
And Bob
There's
Hoskin.
so much about this movie I could talk about right now, but I won't do it. I'm after looking up so much about this movie. It's a whirlwind of. It's like, what's the word? It's a shitstorm.
It's a shitstorm of a movie,
It's-
and lots
but-
and lots of
But
things
you know,
to say about
you
it.
know shitstorms where you're like, it's so fucking good, it's terrible.
It's
just
terribly awful in how good it
It's
is.
awesome.
So join
What's-
us this time next week on Twitch and YouTube, and comment and subscribe and do all those lovely things. So thanks very
Yeah.
much, everybody. This week,
Yeah, Harry's picture.
get on Instagram. I don't know which way I'm pointing. Get on Instagram to see the finished product of Derry's lovely art in the middle of the screen. And we'll see you again next week. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye.